Hello guys, and welcome back to Joe's Ventures, and today we're taking a look at the next devlog for December 2019 for Prehistoric Kingdom. Now it isn't quite out in the blog yet, so we're just going on the Critivo store and having a quick look. So here we see last effort for 2019 for Prehistoric Kingdom. So let's read it off. Welcome to December's development update. Through the holiday season, though the holiday season now has just passed, there's quite a few goodies to discuss to showcase this month's devlog. With a handful of artistic treats and programming gifts, the team's been hard at work spreading festive joy to all the good little critters of Prehistoric Kingdom in this time for the new year. Epic. So the state of development. Let's see how's it going. The team's been up to a lot of great stuff during December whilst tackling the usual engine headaches. Apart from addressing issues with the modular grid, supports for new materials have begun to work its way into the game thanks to Mal's automated setup procedures and Nathan's exceptional patience in texturing new pieces. We commend that. In terms of keeping the community up to date, we're looking to overhaul our milestones chart soon to better reflect what's been working on and where development priorities sit in a more fluid manner, something that the previous design failed to represent. So they're planning to redo the sheet that they did showing the progress, so it's just trying to make it a bit more clear to how everything is going. I'm not sure how they're going to do that, but it'll be interesting to see. We hope to have more news for you on that available soon, so stay tuned. Okay, so we better stay tuned to keep up. Okay, next we got programming. Oh, we got elevated paths. Look at that. Still a work in progress, Matt's been developing new functionality for the path system, elevation. Slopes galore, elevated paths take your guests to discover your park from a new perspective. So we have a look here. We can see this mock Edmontosaurus enclosure with some elevated paths, and that looks pretty cool, not gonna lie. There's real Planet Zoo vibes coming. Continuing with polish and eventually finishing elevated paths, they receive support for edge railings to make sure they appear more grounded, so they won't be so flat, and they'll have railings so people don't fall off and look a little bit more realistic. I hope that's an option though, that'd be cool. Once a raised path hits a certain angle, it automatically becomes stairs to better suit the slope. So very similar to how Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster did it. So once you get to a certain angle, it'll just become slopes. Although fairly rudimentary in appearance at this stage, we are certain that many of your creative builders have already begun to think of new walkway designs, ideas for your future parks. Oh, of course I have. That'll be a really cool thing to implement. So you can also use it to make roofs and such. I think that'll be really fun. Now on to some more modular building. Okay, we've implemented a small texture gallery window to help make textures, color, and theme switching quick and painless when selecting and working through various modular objects. Okay, so that means we can easily change the color and also change the textures on the dime, which I think is really cool because like with games like Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo, often you have to delete it and just like replace it. So I think it's cool that they're doing this to like show that like try and create it as streamlined as possible, so you don't have to really over worry about deleting it and doing this. Just try and make it more user friendly and more streamlined, so it's easier and funner to get to build. Because I think that was a big problem with Planet Zoo / Planet Coaster, because even though it's so detailed, sometimes it's just not streamlined enough, and it feels like a pain to build something. Even though the controls are really good, it's just there isn't much quality of life improvements just to make it easier for you. So I think this is like an attempt at that. So being able to quickly change the textures will be really useful when you're building. So, but keeping the wall and roof textures contained to their own panel, materials are comfortably assembled at any time while designing, leaving more space in the object selection menu for a huge pile of pieces. So that's good. Players will be able to select areas from their custom buildings and effortlessly change textures without having to rebuild the structure, allowing for easy design switching to see how your build looks in a completely different style. So it'll be really easy to check how something works, and of course, as I said, it will be very easy to check how the style fits and just make life easier when you're trying to build stuff. Okay, now we got some terrain stuff. Applying a much softer edge to the affected areas, terrain building has been updated. Lower intensities are far more usable than while offering better control over terrain blending and adding an improved sense of polish to the system. So we can see here it's just a lot more blended in on the corners, so it looks better to the eye. As seen above, the recent changes provided vast degree of subtlety that simply did not exist prior due to the hard delineation of surfaces. Smoothing it out results in hard painted areas looking far more natural. So it just looks a lot more blended in and looks a little bit more realistic. And now we got something new. We've got a new animal shader. Animal shader update. Acting is one of the most visually important parts of the game. It's imperative that we continue to improve the visual vitality and shader functionality of animals in game. To keep animal shading consistent across all times of the day, we've added occlusion maps to create definition on our creatures regardless of shading or the positioning of the sun. So you can see like areas that are just more shaded, like the belly here and on here. You can clearly see the changes. Just keeps the kind of keeps the sense of depth, so it doesn't look flat. So that one you can see it just looks a little bit more realistic, and you can see a little bit more just depth to it. Okay, now we got the foliage shader, not just animals now. Earlier this month, we updated our foliage shader to support translucency, enabling sunlight to realistically pass through leaves when appropriate. Combined with Nathan's new technique for creating plants, our foliage is about to start looking a whole lot better. So look, we even got a good comparison, old and new. You can see how beautiful that new tree looks. It looks like something you'd want to sit under and have a picnic. And we see it at night as well. That really does create a nice mood. And this is the kapok tree, and used for its comparison. And we see them all properly shaded, and you see very nice. Looks beautiful. With the new year begins, and we'll be working hard on environmental updates alongside core features to get both flora and terrain textures into a better state for a number of climates. Okay, that's good. So just more progress. Obviously, things are really coming along. So now we've got species spotlight. So closing in on the completion of our species spotlights with the introduction of our 5-star animals, fan favorites Parasaurolophus and Utahraptor received their in-game debuts, complete with design overhauls. So here we see the released Parasaurolophus, and now they've got 3 different species. I'll explain a little bit more as we get to the comparisons. This one, and you can see here all the different requirements for each entity. You can see with the 5 stars, they tend to be very picky, especially with something like water density and foliage. That just makes them a little bit harder to keep. Same with Utahraptor, very picky within the 5% with its foliage and water density, so that'll be a very hard thing to manage. And we see the art. We can see a new update to the interface. We can see almost 4.5 months out from the PAX West, we've been making changes to streamline the user experience and bring improvements to both the interface and game design when necessary. Based on usability feedback, Bjorn redesigned the landscaping panel to feature an enhanced layout, cleaner visuals, and superior button style that will be applied to the rest of UI in order to help bring better consistency when it may not have been lacking prior. So you can see here it's just made a little bit more streamlined and a bit more pretty. So you can see here, look at that beautiful Camarasaurus. Is that the Camarasaurus? Yeah, that's Camarasaurus. You can see it's just been slightly improved. Horizontal, made a little bit taller. See the buttons are transparent, I mean. And it definitely does feel more open. It's just a little bit, not more cramped like it was. Just looks a little bit more streamlined and a little bit more improved. And then we got into animations. So here we see more reminiscence of ratites like emus or ostriches. Gallimimus is a classically bird-like dinosaur featuring feathers and a lengthy stride. Animated by Mal, this chicken mimic behaves separately to its modern-day counterparts. So we can see here the animation, the walk, from all sorts of different angles. We can see the just vibing, just walking around, living life. It looks pretty good. Not really much I can say critiquing that. I think it looks good. Maybe a little bit more bob in the head, I don't know. It's all very minor. I think basically it looks pretty good. And then we see the run. See, we can see a little bit more Bob in the run. Look at that, he's really going. He's really going for it, ain't he? And I really like the new Galley. Like, the red on the neck just looks really good. I like it a lot. You can see the improvements just over the years. And now we got another one. The third largest ceratopsian in Prehistoric Kingdom. Styracosaurus is best known for its large nasal horn and impressive frill, sharing an ecosystem with the fearsome Gorgosaurus. This defensive dinosaur treads confidently while boasting an intimidating appearance. Oh, of course. You wouldn't want to get into a fight with this guy. We can see him just walking about. Very nice walk. He's just vibing. See the ones with an angles. I really like how the skin came out in this one too, with the lighter on the horns. And then we see here him running. Oh no, he's galloping. He's really going for it. It's very fluid. It looks very nice. Though we don't know if the larger ceratopsians, we know that they probably couldn't get. We don't know really, but most likely couldn't gallop, but this is kind of a really cool animation. And then we'll see here the sound design. See, we've got another new sound. Delightfully croaky and ready to hiss, Brion's Guanlong takes inspiration from a variety of birds and ground animals to bring its raspy character to life. Running around with a group of up to 4 individuals, this crested critter is one tropical bird you don't want to bite from. So this is all the sounds that have been made for Guanlong, and we'll have a quick look. Oh, I really like that. I really liked it. It gave me like compy vibes from Jurassic Park. I thought that came out pretty good. I really like the character of it. It just seems like wily. It's like a wily, almost like a coyote, dinosaur coyote. I really like that. So alongside creature vocals, we've also taken the time to begin expanding our custom sounds and Foley library to truly bring these animals back to life. From swarms of flies to the subtle grunts and hisses of a feasting dinosaur, these tiny details help flesh out the believability of our animal roster. So you could definitely hear that in the video. You could hear flies going and slight rumbles and such. So that came out really good. Okay, now we're moving on to the reduxes. So we can see here we've got 2 new animals here. We've got a bunch of new species for Parasaurolophus with lots of old skins, including old species. We can see the first one here is Walkeri, which is the one I was talking about in my last video, which is probably the most famous and also the smallest by the looks of it. We can see it's got the elongated crest, and doesn't it look incredible? It looks really good. And now we have this next one is Parasaurolophus cryptoclytus, or no, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but not as huge crest, just a little bit more low-key, but a little bit bigger and still very interesting looking. And now this one is probably the largest. It's also known as Charnosaurus. It's sometimes put in its own genus, but this is the latest. It's from the Maastrichtian and is from Asia, and it's also one of the larger of these kind of this group. So you can clearly tell it's the largest, even though it's lumped as Charnosaurus. It's Charnosaurus, but here it's been lumped as Parasaurolophus. But you can tell, I really like how the skin came out. I like the brightness of the male with the red on the crest, and it reminds me a lot of the Jurassic Park 1 Parasaurolophus, and I think they did a really good job with these skins and the glow up. It's just improved. It's like the Chimera treatment, like it's just gone up tenfold. You can really see the increase in quality. And here we see the Utahraptor. You can see like a lot of the skins that have been changed. Like they've kept like the base concepts of some of them, but they've changed them quite a bit. Like the Vulture one at the front there has got a bald head, and I really like how that one looks, along with dark feathers, and you can really see the textures improved. Same with the Utahraptor, and the second and third skin, you can really see how the textures have improved. It looks incredible. It looks very good. It's almost like it's going to jump out the screen. And then we see here the comparison from the old to new model. So look, we can just see how much the textures in the model have improved. It's just gone up tenfold. I'll just let you look at that for a minute. Just wow. Especially new skins too. It just fits so well. And then we've got our community spotlight, where we have our Discord community went crazy with fan designs this month, but there were simply too many for us to pick. Please enjoy the selection of the favorite ones created in December. So there's like a 8-bit Prehistoric Kingdom logo, which looks quite nice. Oh, it's a Torvosaurus. Look at that Torvosaurus. I really like that skin. It's very monitor lizard-like. That looks pretty nice. Oh, and we got Medina with a very nice Smilodon, which we haven't seen. We've already seen the design, but we haven't seen the model yet. I think that looks very nice. And then we have, I think it's Tasontosaurus, also done by Medina Dragon. It reminds me a lot of a pheasant for whatever reason. That maybe just the spots here and the light browns reminds me of a pheasant quite a bit. But I think everyone did a really good job with this. So thank you for reading today's devlog, and with elevated paths, working in the current state, the next goal of ours is to improve them in addition to adding new components to the modular system, such as advanced editing to manipulate object using a 3D gizmo. Until next time, the PK team. So there we have it, folks. That was the 2019, the last one of 2019, December 2019 devlog, and hopefully you guys like and subscribe, and bye bye.